Hello again, it's Daniel Sokol. I'm going to discuss this time one of the options you could have chosen in answer to the first scenario, the first opening scene, which is discuss DNAR status with the next of kin, which is the patient's son. Forgive me for looking on the side each time. I've got the screen in front of me with the case, so I know what I'm talking about. So you may just be watching this out of interest or curiosity. You may not even have selected that answer. But if you did choose this option as your answer, presumably what you thought was that the patient didn't have capacity because the junior doctor at the beginning says that the patient is confused. But that was a trap that we laid for you. If a patient is confused or demented, this does not necessarily mean that he or she doesn't have capacity to make decisions, because you'll remember that capacity is task specific or decision specific. You can have the capacity to make some decisions but not others. So a patient may have capacity to decide whether to have chicken or beef for lunch, but may not have the capacity to make difficult, complex end-of-life decisions. So this needs to be explored. Every time I hear someone say, oh, the patient has capacity or the patient doesn't have capacity, I tend to think, well, the capacity to do what? Or lacks the capacity to do what? Now, the son in the scenario says that he wants to have a DNAR order written for his dad. He's a paramedic, he knows what resuscitation entails, and he doesn't want it for his father. Now, the power that relatives have in decision-making varies considerably from country to country. In some countries, family autonomy is more important than individual autonomy. So in a way, it's the family who decides for the patient. Now, in the Western context, in the UK and in America, that's not the case. The patient is the one who has decision-making powers. They will have priority over what their relatives want, because after all, they're the ones who are most affected by any decision. This is why the consultant asks the junior doctor, well, what did the patient say? And the junior doctor, as you saw, was a little bit embarrassed. So we need to establish, first of all, if the patient has the capacity to make this decision or to participate in this decision. Unless the patient agreed at the beginning to have any information about him disclosed to his son, the junior doctor may have actually breached confidentiality by discussing this with his son. So every time there is a major decision to be made about a patient's care, and there are various options, you need to involve the patient in that particular decision if the patient has capacity. So first step, always assess capacity. All right, I'm out.